Hello, hello. I hope you all enjoyed that part one, the story of my cousin Mark, and kind of just the origins of where he grew up, Pacoima, how tough it was. But part two, that's the part you were tuned in for. This is where he went and moved to Boston. So from going from the small hood of Pacoima to the big city of Boston. So we're gonna go ahead and catch up with him in Boston and see how that turned out. I think he made it, so that's all good. But here you go, part two, Pacoima to Boston. And then that kind of leads us to your story. At Pacoima, obviously that magnet, you obviously tore it up, you aced it, and you decided to take your talents to Boston University. So I know we talked about it before, but
Yeah.
was there anywhere? Did you get into any other schools that you possibly thought about going closer in California, or was it always no? I'm out of here. I got to get out.
Um, I applied to as many schools as I could. It was free, right? We just you get waivers. So if you didn't have to pay, then why not? So it was sort of a shotgun approach. All I knew about colleges was the what their football teams are doing or their basketball teams. That's the only that's all I knew about them.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
and then I learned about MIT, and it's a good segue because you mentioned Luce and Alex. They're 4 years older than me.
Right.
So, in 11th
Right.
grade, they were at MIT. They came back to my biology class, and they extolled the virtues of going to college and becoming an engineer. And they said they were from MIT. So that was the first time I heard about MIT and what that was. And
Wow.
only the best, get in, and the best
Right.
go. So I was completely. That was when the light turned on, and I thought, well, these kids from the neighborhood can do it.
Wow.
Then
Wow.
shoot. So talking about being a pioneer, right? They were pioneers
Yeah.
before, and so
Right.
that got me um, hooked. That got me. It made me apply to college, and it made me apply as far as possible. And I did apply to MIT,
Yeah.
but I didn't get in. I wasn't. My scores weren't good enough. But one of my best friends got in. I mean, what's
Thinking aloud.
amazing
Yeah.
about San Fernando High School during that time is they had really good um, counselors and some really good teachers that were teaching AP classes, as well as Mr. Ressa, who's is one of my heroes. And so um, there was a connection from San Fernando High School to MIT because they were recruiting. They were going into minority communities, and there was one gentleman in
Dang.
particular. His name was Eddie Grotto, who he's from Texas. He got into MIT, played football with they have a football team. Um,
Yeah. Wouldn't.
and
Wouldn't be there.
but he saw something sort of in his neighborhood and himself, and he thought, hey, Chicanos can go to MIT too. Chicanos can go to Ivy League schools. He
Right.
got a job working with MIT, and he just went to these minority communities and recruited. And so, if not for him, he's sort of the godfather MIT Chicano movement because he recruited so many kids from all these underserved communities and schools. Um, I don't know exactly the moment that he found San Fernando High School, but once he did, there was a good 10 years where at least one kid from San Fernando got into MIT.
Wow.
So there was a whole line of kids
That's
that kept getting
fantastic.
in, right? And that started this wave. So if not for them, if not, I could trace it all the way back to Eddie Grotto now. The
Yeah.
genealogical roots go from my parents to me to Luce and Alex to Eddie Grotto. Um, and if not for him to convince them to go to MIT, they wouldn't have gone to my biology class and
Right.
said, "Hey,
Right.
y- um, of course, I didn't get an MIT, but it was enough to sort of inspire not just me, a bunch of Chicanos from the neighborhood to apply and go to higher levels of education, and not just the higher levels of education that were local, the ones that were freaking far away.
Yeah.
Because that was the other thing. yes, you can go to UCLA, you can go to USC, you can go Berkeley. Berkeley seems far away too, but why haven't you ever thought about going to Harvard, Cornell, Columbia? You know, there you can do that too. There's money for you.
Right,
There's
right.
resources. Um, so after learning that, I was like, "Yep, okay, let's apply everywhere." And I got into all the local schools. I don't, and it was a lot. I don't even remember which ones they were. I got into Colorado, and then I didn't apply anywhere else in between Colorado and Boston and MIT. But I got into Boston University, and I figured this is as close as MIT as I can get. Um,
Yeah.
so it's literally just right over a river, and it's
Right.
even closer than Harvard. I didn't apply to Harvard, but um, I went to school closer to MIT than Harvard was. So I
Wow.
felt lucky and privileged. And then I also had a community there. Right?
Yeah.
If it was just me
As
all
you
by
were saying.
myself, I don't think I would have survived. But because I had friends, there were people from the neighborhood going to MIT, not so much BU, but they were close enough for me to just have that sort of sense of community. And I hung out there
Yeah.
a lot. Like I wanted to go there so bad, I would go over there on weekends and hang out. Um, you know, and I even met my wife there, right? So I married into
Right, right.
MIT. Um,
MIT affiliated.
yeah,
Yeah, dog.
that's just, I mean, that just shows you how bad I wanted to go. That's how, but and I think I mentioned this to you before, Paul. Was something that I learned in that whole thing was, you know, there's always somebody working harder. There's always somebody smarter. Um, and what I got the most benefit from was when I was in a room where everybody else was smarter than me. Um,
Wow. Yeah.
so I started to choose, and it's uncomfortable as hell, but I started to figure out that I grow more when I'm in a room with people, and it's not even smarter anymore. It's just, you know, they have different skills and they know, you know, they have different expertises. But back then it was just, yeah, you're smarter than me because you went to MIT, you got into
Right.
MIT and I didn't. Um, but ever since then, I've always tried to surround myself with people, um, who, you know, who interested me because they had something that I could learn.
Right,
Um,
right, right. That's
and
cool.
I heard the saying was that, you know, if you're the smartest person in the room, then get out of the room, go to a, you
Right,
know, go to
right.
a different room.
Or how are you gonna
And that's
grow?
true.
Right.
That's true in a sense, because there's
Yeah.
always some, you know, something that else that you can learn and that you can grow from. Um,
Where's your wife from originally?
so she's from El Monte.
Oh, okay, okay. So
Yeah, we grew up 20
she's
miles
similar
from
with
each
you.
other, but we didn't, you know, we met 3,000 miles
You
away.
had to go all the way to Boston to find me.
Yeah,
That's
That's
crazy. That's
cool.
cool.
yeah.
Um, okay, and I know same thing. That's why I'm hearing the same, but I asked you this already again, but nobody else obviously knows it. How was it the stepping off that plane, or not even stepping off the plane, that first day moving into college? I'm sure your parents went down there to help you move in, but how was it? Was oh
No.
no, you went by yourself?
So I
Okay,
had
well,
never,
tell me your story. But actually, hold on. I gotta run and go pee real quick because
but
these are starting to
yeah,
kick
yeah,
in.
that freaking,
But tell your story because I've already heard it. So tell it to Louis about the culture shock, what you were thinking, how scared you were, and how many times did you think about, hey, I got to just get out of here and get back to Pacoima where it's safe.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
Tell your story. I'll be right back.
Yeah, so I had never even been on a plane before. Ever, you know, we vacationed in freaking Ensenada. We vacationed,
If you
uh,
couldn't drive, right?
yeah,
If you
yeah,
couldn't drive, you weren't going.
yeah. So
Yeah.
there was so much that I just, you know, I couldn't even sleep over friends' houses and cousins' houses because I would get scared, and so I was just a homeboy, like just a homebody, but I always just
Yeah,
wanted.
yeah.
So it was, I'm sure people were surprised that I chose to go as far as I did. You know, I was just this skinny little punk ass kid in this little shell. Um, and so from the inception, like from just getting accepted, every next step was some huge milestone. And
Oh
so
yeah, for sure. Hell yeah.
yeah, so getting on a plane, you know, that was an experience. Packing all my stuff, living on my own, and just, you know, having to learn how to survive without my parents. And then being on in a different state and a different time zone. Never been is Vegas in a different time zone? It's not even, no, Vegas is not even a different time zone. So there were
No
so
more than
many
2 hours, huh?
that I was it was just like an overload of just,
Wow.
I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to deal with it. And I think because it was just so much, it was just, okay, survival mode. Just figure out how to get to the next step. Figure out how to get
Yeah.
into, get your classes. Figure out how to buy your books. Figure out, and I'm not the only. I wasn't the only one. There's, BU is a huge school. A lot of kids are going sort of through the same thing. Not a lot of them are from Pacoima, but there's always people who you can find and you can relate to, and who will help you. There's always also some podcast kids in college that also are there for different reasons. Um, so yes, a huge culture shock as well. Not a lot of Mexicans in New England, and so I had to find other brown skinned people, just to have some sense of um, comfort, or just to relate
Right.
to
Right.
some. I'm not saying the native New Englanders were also friendly, when you found the right ones who weren't Celtics fans, but they it- and part of growing up in the streets was, everywhere that you go, I'm sure, Uncle Louis, you can also attest to this, is that you always figure out, okay, I gotta, any new environment, I gotta make sure I know, if something goes down, how to figure out how to survive this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
almost like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
where the nearest exits, kind of thing. Because
Right. Yeah, you gotta have an out.
I'm gonna run before I fight, because I know that's just my nature. So, um,
That's good though.
that
Me too.
those survival kind of skills, I had to really lean heavily on when you're in the unknown. Um, so not a lot of, like I said, not a lot of Mexicans. You had the East Coast brown people, and they were Puerto Rican and they were Dominican, um, and so, their life experiences are different. They're not from California. Being from California, even the Texas
Yeah. Yeah.
Mexicans are different than the
Right. Totally
California.
different. Right. 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 Right.
Um,
Right. Right.
and I was just so naive. I just figured, we're all the same, and so I had to learn a lot about a lot of different kinds of people quickly. Because growing up in Pacoima, you're in this shell. There's 90% Mexicans, right? Um, and so, um, the only white people you're seeing are on TV, and so you just think, oh yeah, that's not me. That's, I don't live like that. And then all of a sudden, you're thrown into this, melting pot of, all these people in New England. The good thing about New England, though, is there's like 120 colleges in the area. And so most people are students. Most people are there from somewhere else, and they're also just trying to get better, like, better themselves.
Right.
They're also
Right.
trying to
Right.
get degrees. So
Yeah.
that little bubble sort of helped me as well. But no Mexican restaurants, no Mexican food. My grandma Lily had to FedEx me tamales, salsa. Um,
Uh,
are we getting a mic over here? No.
no, go ahead. My things died. I got to get another. This happens. Hey, this isn't that professional the show. But yeah, go ahead. So that's crazy. They had to actually send you Mexican. So there was no Mexican food over there.
There was a Mexican store. Oh, I didn't have a car, and it was, a couple miles away. And the trains are great, but I don't have money. So, hanging out with the other Mexicans, especially the ones from MIT. Usually when packages would come in, they would congregate in people's rooms and be like, "Hey, what'd you get?" I got, flour tortillas. That's like, these are commodities that you just couldn't find in
Right.
Boston. And that
You
was,
probably took it for granted, right? Like,
oh,
oh, we could get
definitely.
Mexican
Well,
food everywhere.
I appreciated home much more.
Right.
So that every time I did come home, I was a different person. Like, even after the first semester, it was like, there's a huge world out there. Um, I wish everybody could experience this.
Right.
But at the same time, I knew some of the people that wouldn't be able to handle it, for many different reasons, and so, um, I was completely changed by it. It was really cold though. That was another thing that, it's not just a culture shock; it was a temperature shock. Which is, it was cold all the time. It was cold from November to April. Um, and now, California boy, I just couldn't. That was really hard, really tough to handle. It did make me a stronger person. Oh, we lost him. It did make me a stronger person with respect to weather because now, it's like, it's not that cold. We're here in California. I did kind of lose my edge a little bit. Now I get a little bit cold, but that stuck with me for a while. Like I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I can wear shorts and it's 40 degrees. I can go jump in the ocean and go surfing without um, complaining that it's super cold because the water's only 58 degrees here. Uh, so yeah, it was a life changing experience. I would recommend it to anybody, and I do as much as I can. Whoever's thinking about college, I recommend everybody at least apply as far as you can because you never know.
But like you're saying, you know, be uncomfortable, take that plunge into the unknown, and it's in the end, yeah, it might be horrible, it might be terrible initially. You might think your world is coming to an end, but if you can fight through that, in the end, it's going to help you.
Yeah, I think the other thing was, and we're still on this Pacoima, in this Pacoima mentality was,
Right.
do I go back to Pacoima? Like, yeah, the answer is yes, but at the time it's like, okay, what are you really going back to? What are you going to do if you go back to the hood? Like, might as well just keep plowing forward this way, and
Right.
see what happens.
Right.
Home is always going to be home. One thing that my mom,
Yeah.
uh, you know, told me was that, we're always going to be here. Um, and so that was really comforting. And again, this is a time where I don't know how it would be now. Now I know there are Mexican restaurants. There's a Chipotle in Harvard Square now, and like, but it's funny. It's so ubiquitous there now. But it's funny how it was only 30 years ago, and where was it? Like you couldn't find Mexican food
Yeah.
in Boston or New England, probably in general. You had to go to probably New York, um, to a Chinese restaurant where the Mexicans were cooking the food. Um,
Yeah.
that always flabbergasts me because as well. There's Mexicans in Chicago. There's Mexicans in Kansas City. I guess it was always just too cold for them in New England up until maybe 30 years ago. But I always think, man, that that was the last place I guess where we had to migrate to. It's just taking over the country so soon. So I guess the trajectory then will be in another 20 years as well. We'll be in Canada. There'll be
Yeah.
Mexicans, in Toronto.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. How about this? Like when you were over there, and say even after you, okay, I'm established now, I'm comfortable. You had your group. Did you still have that, or maybe you never had it? You had confidence. Did you have that ever? Any of that imposter syndrome where you feel like I'm not as smart as all the other people, or I don't fit in, or I'm not gonna make it, or they're looking at me different? Did you ever go through that?
Oh, I didn't go through imposter syndrome until I became a professional.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Okay.
what I learned in Boston was I had to be a chameleon as well to be able to get what I needed as well. Be resourceful. It took a couple years to be able to do that. I had a struggle in my classes before I figured out how to ask for help or how to even use any of the other resources available to me. So it never popped into my head that I was an imposter. Probably also because I wasn't going to MIT and I knew the people who were, and those fuckers were smart. Um, and that I was going to BU, and so I was like, yeah, I was good enough to get into BU, and so that sort of was leveling to me. But then when I became a professional, I joined the ranks of a million other graduates who were trying to be the next best thing in Silicon Valley. Is when I thought, shoot, do I belong here? Do I belong in this boardroom? Do I really belong a part of this team? Like, should I be here? That was when it really hit me.
Wow. What about, you said you wanted to go to MIT, you went to the college right down the street from MIT. Did you ever have a little like you thought bad towards them? You had a little maybe jealousy, a little like towards MIT and anybody who went there. Obviously you married your
Yeah,
wife from there, so you got over it. But did you ever have a little bit of that like resentment toward like, damn it, like I could have been there. Why
yeah.
they're not that much smarter than me? Did you go through that at all a little?
I think at first I did. I know for sure at first I did,
Yeah.
um, as well. But it didn't last long because when I saw how hard they had to work, when I saw like their workload, and I'm going to engineering school as well.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
and so
At a legit school too, at a legit
yeah,
you're at Boston
yeah.
University. Right, right.
So, when I saw what they had to go through, that like, are you taking this class? Yeah, I'm taking it too, but I don't have to stay up all night to finish the problem sets. I don't have to,
Right, right, right.
um, as well. That was, that was like, okay, I have respect. Like, I'm glad I'm not getting my ass kicked in this way. So it quickly just turned into respect for them. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I did the Harvard guys. I never respected them. I did because I always felt like they turned up their noses to, you know,
Yeah, pretentious or yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I bet.
But there were, I mean,
Um,
there were people from the hood also at Harvard. Which
that
now I'm
that
proud to say, yeah, that's cool. That's
that's
great. Very good.
crazy. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so talking about, people at Harvard or MIT, so we had talked earlier about Alex Padilla. I know
As
your
well.
buddy, right, who also went to MIT, or you knew him through that whole little group, but he was older than you as well. He was roommates with him.
Yep.
Um, how crazy is that somebody, who's, pretty prominent now and working his way up. I mean, he had that whole thing with Christy Noam where they tackled him, like, so it's like, how crazy is that now to kind of have, an indirect connection to him and, like, I assume you've met him. Is he like, what do you have to say? Or is he cool? Should we get behind him or should we throw our support elsewhere? Like, what's the real story? Give us the real facts. Break us
Um,
down, Alex Padilla.
so I only know Alex, I don't know him too personally. I think as well. Just the last time we had dinner as well was a couple months ago, and I sat at a
Uh-huh.
table with him and my friend Javier. I think it was the first time I met him a bunch of times. He knows my wife really well because he was,
Oh, right, right, right.
he was a senior when she was freshman, and sort of there was this big brother kind of thing.
Okay.
She ended up getting his room after he graduated, so he gifted
Wow.
his room to her. So he knows her
That's
well. And then every time,
okay.
we would go to parties and stuff, he would talk to her, and then he would just look at me like, "Oh, hey." Um, but yeah, I mean, as far as support, yeah, I mean, I support him. He's from the neighborhood, and you know, again, I don't know him that well enough now. At least I could say that he would know who I am.
Yeah.
But it's not like I can't call him. You know,
He's
The
not gonna
number you
take the call.
he's not
dialed is
gonna answer my
not a
call.
working number.
I'll
Please check the number and dial again.
call.
El número que
I could
marcó
get his
no
ear
está
if
en
I needed
servicio.
to. Like I would have to
Yeah,
push
yeah.
my friend, and then he would say, "Okay." We did get invited to his birthday party, and
Oh,
so
wow.
every chance that we get, any
Yeah.
invitation we get from him, we go.
Right,
'Cause,
right. Yeah, you have
um,
to.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I like him. I followed his career,
Okay.
ever since wherever. So I've been following him, to Massachusetts. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. And what about Luz Rivas? Do you know anything about her? They were the same year, is that? Because they said they were friends too. He said that
so
I guess
I think Luce is 1 year younger, so she was there 1 year longer. And she might
okay,
have. I
okay.
think she got her master's there too. I don't want to. I know Luce better than I know Luce. No, I
Oh,
can call Luce.
really?
Yeah, I can text
Oh,
Luce.
okay,
Um,
okay.
Let's get her on the show. Come on.
she would be nice.
And our special guest is Lucy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Go
bring
ahead.
on.
Luce is
Somebody.
very nice. Luce is,
Yeah,
she's really smart, and she's just for the neighborhood. Like she's down for the neighborhood for sure. Um,
okay. That's good.
so she's uh, yeah. I want to say like I only knew Alex for my freshman year. He was senior. He left, so she must have been there a few more years after that. Um, but we crossed paths many more times because she was always involved in the neighborhood um, as well.
So you remember her in school.
I remember her in school. Yeah, I
So
remember Eric being the older one.
how crazy is that to see somebody in school as, college student, MRT regardless, I'm sure it's kind of the same, kind of
Yeah,
carefree a little, like whatever to what she is now. Like that's pretty impressive.
it is really impressive. But again, I think that respect and knowing what everybody who goes to MIT has to go through just to graduate, it doesn't surprise me. It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
surprise
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Like, yeah,
Right, right, right.
of course, you're gonna keep
Yeah.
going. Of course, you're gonna that's how I look at them. There is
Okay.
nothing that can stop you because of what you went through, and not just
Right,
like
right, right.
just from growing up in Pacoima, but then also surviving, um,
Right.
MIT and
Yeah. Talk about
um,
fish out of water. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
so so much respect for Luz because she went back. She went back to the neighborhood. She had a professional career for a bit, and then she said, I need to come back. We need to get back to the neighborhood. So she's
We need
working
to.
for she's working for Pacoima.
Right. Right. That's
That's how
cool.
I
That's
see her. I
cool.
mean, she's in Congress, but um, you know, it's Pacoima centric for sure.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Okay. All right, let's go back to a little fun. This is Uncle Louie's favorite segment, rapid fire. So I'm gonna ask you a couple of little easy questions and just give me a quick one-word answer. Which do you prefer? Food from Boston or Pacoima?
Pacoima.
That should be a no-brainer, right? Okay. Okay.
From Boston, I'm trying to think.
the chowder, right?
Not even the seafood.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't afford it too.
Okay.
So even just like the food, I wouldn't know. It's usually the seafood, right, that people know Boston for.
Right.
I was a poor college student, so I couldn't eat.
You were a yeah.
So maybe the
Club
Boston
chowder.
like Dunkin' Donuts was, it's huge over there.
Out there.
They've been here a while now, but they weren't here forever. So maybe their donuts from
So it doesn't compare to good old fashioned, a little taco truck or something. All right. How about this? Street smarts or book smarts?
Oh, dang!
I mean, I know you need both, but which is more? Which do you think is more valuable?
Book smarts.
Dang, that's hard. Yeah.
It
There
is.
is long term.
Yeah.
Long term.
Yeah, long term. Because even how you, Louis, had said before, like, who are you saying? Your sister? You were saying she was super, super book smart. She made, she went to UCL, all that, but she didn't necessarily have that street sense. So you could still make it and be successful, not necessarily have the street smarts.
I always say, like, we were raised by the same exact parents in the same exact house in the same exact neighborhood, but I have way more street smarts than she has book smart. Because she's 100% book smart, and I'm more street smart than I am book smart. Yeah.
I mean, ideally you want both, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. If you can have both, that's a good balance. Huh?
How about this, Mark? Can you give me one word that would describe your journey from Pacoima to Boston to Silicon Valley to now?
There isn't one word.
If there is one word.
I think the word is like whirlwind. It's been a whirlwind of of a journey. One that I wouldn't have thought, I wouldn't have dreamed of. And so, I have no regrets on any of the choices that I made. Um, but yeah, I think, it's not, I think that's what I would go with. It's been a whirlwind and it's been
Yeah. Is there somebody or some place who or what kept you motivated to succeed, to kind of keep going? Who's driven you, or are you self-driven?
Yeah, so my wife probably was my biggest driver, and again it was competition, right? It was like, okay, she's an engineer, she's going to MIT, she's doing it. I will say after I met her, my grades in college went up a lot. Um, and I was like, oh wow, and maybe I was motivated and wanting to do well for her,
Right.
to impress her, to make sure that I was still in good standing with her. So that's one. And my parents always being, being home, being like giving me this loving home, or providing me their support, no matter where they were going to end up. They ended up moving to Gordana Hills. Um, I always give them shit because, um, I told them they live in a nice house now. They have a pool. It's like, okay, you waited for
Yeah.
to grow up
Really nice house. Yeah.
to move out of the hood,
Yeah.
have a better life. Um,
Yeah.
but always knowing that no matter where I went in the world, I can come back to to a home. Not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a house, right? It could just be a home, meaning just two loving parents, and
Right.
right, people who still were going to support me no matter what.
Exactly.
Let me venture out and go farther, and keep pushing.
Excellent. That's perfect. Exactly. Okay. Since you were also in Silicon Valley, SoCal or NoCal? Should be easy.
It should be.
No?
It should
Oh,
be.
no.
But I was in NorCal in my 20s and 30s,
Yeah.
right?
That's
So
where you grew up, baby, basically.
I mean, right? That's where my brain finally, my cerebral cortex finally matured, and NorCal has so many. The Bay Area in particular, it's so diverse, and it was, there was plenty of places to. You can go to the beach, you can go surfing, and then you can go to, you can go snowboarding, and then you go surfing the same day if you needed to. Like there's just so much to do in the Bay Area. I love the culture of the Bay Area, but I would say SoCal,
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay.
just because it's home. Everybody's here. Um,
Right.
I, the only reason why I'm a little bit, not completely sold or completely on SoCal is because I'm in Orange County now, and it's not. Orange County is different from LA County.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
It's not as fun. It's not as fun.
Right. Oh, yeah. Right. It's, yeah. I mean,
When we
but
first
boring
moved,
is good, though, right?
boring can
You know?
be, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe if we were in San Diego, it'd be different.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
when we first started thinking about, where our family was growing, we were having kids, we wanted to be closer. We were thinking of going to San Diego because that's where jobs were, and then we just, we liked the area.
Yeah.
I didn't envision myself ever living in Orange County. And when we looked for houses down here, um, one of the things was my standards are so low. I was like, okay, and at least has to have a sidewalk and a paved street. um, so, and then we looked for places in Irvine. So I live in Fountain Valley now, Fountain Valley, Huntington Beach area.
Okay.
It's got a little bit of soul. It's got more soul than Irvine. We looked at Irvine and it was like too clean.
Very,
Like,
yes.
yeah, I didn't feel comfortable. Actually, I was more scared there than I would be. I think that's
Boston or something.
yeah. There's something. It was like this is
Something,
creepy.
yeah.
This is creepy. This is
Yeah,
like
that's how I think too. How is some place so clean? Yeah.
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 They don't make horror movies in Pacoima because it's already right. The horror movies.
It's already scary.
Yeah, you wouldn't be scared. I wouldn't be scared if I thought Jason coming.
So,
We got
Elm
other things to worry
Street-
about.
Elm Street was a
Yeah.
nice neighborhood, right? That's why people were freaked out.
Yeah.
If you were on a Penny Street, like that's another fool. That's freaking.
Yeah, it's another day. It's another day in the hood, man.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, how about this one? Is LA still Ramstown? No. Is it now Ramstown? Or is it still
What?
Raider Nation?
It's still Raider Nation.
All right, you hear that, Louie? You heard that was for Louie. That was all for Louie.
Whatever, dog.
That was all I need to hear. Okay, last question. This one.
It's
Oh,
dying.
go ahead.
Man, it's dying. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
It's been dying.
It is.
It's been dying.
it
Because
has
they've
been.
been gone to LA for so long.
Yeah, they've been gone
but
too long. It's a generational thing.
Yeah.
I was fortunate to. So when they moved to the Bay Area, I moved there. a year
Oh,
later.
you were over there.
So
Yeah,
I sort of followed them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was still in it because I was now living in the Bay Area, and then did I move before that? I moved before they did, and I was hoping they'd come.
Yeah.
Before the Chargers
They
would,
were.
but
Yeah, for that whole when they were talking about all the movie. Yeah. All
it
right.
almost.
How about this one? If this one's too personal or too serious, just say pass. I don't want to answer. Will the Bacon Bros ever come back? And for Louis, the Bacon Bros is a podcast he made. It was with your son, right? I heard a couple of them. I loved it, bro. That was cool, man.
Yeah.
He did a podcast with his son. And so that's what I
Nice.
would refer. But it's been a couple years. I didn't notice there's no new episode. So what's
No,
going
so
on
my
with the
son-
Bacon Bros?
So my son, it's all my son. Like he is it's like BD Bros, right? Is there's a similarity here.
Yeah.
Maybe so he sort of hung up the mic in for that part. He did that when I think he was still in middle school.
Yeah, he seemed really
He
young.
loved talking about sports. He would listen to sports radio. He actually called into Mason and Ireland show.
Oh, did he? ESPN
and
710? Yeah, nice.
It's funny because he called in. It was like in the summer, and he sent an email. I think that he sent an email to him and said, "Hey, you should have kids, not kids, but you should have I guess he did say kids. I'm 12 years old or something like that. You should get a different perspective." Um and so I forget what else he said, but they called him.
Oh, wow. Hey, kids equal ratings, honestly.
And I remember he told us, "Oh, I'm going to be on the radio. Is that okay?" What? Yeah, I wrote a letter to
That's
the
crazy.
station.
He's the one who did that. Yeah.
And so I think that's what started his podcast career. So I wish I know it exists somewhere. It's recorded. They record all their shows, right? So Mason or Island, one of them reads the letter on air. He's like, "Yeah, okay." And they don't usually have callers. They didn't usually have callers back then.
Yeah, no, they used to never have callers.
Yeah. So he said, "Okay, I got a letter from this kid, Zach, in Fountain Valley, and I thought it'd be interesting. Let's get him on." And so so Zach comes on and like, "Hey Zach, how you doing?" And Zach's like, "Oh, I'm just here eating my barbecue chips." And there's like silence, right?
All casual.
Yeah. And he's like, all right, so you said you wanted to talk about sports. What is your opinion on?" And I forget what it was, right? So, and Zach said something like just super simple. He didn't have a lot to say. Um and and it was maybe like 3 minutes, maybe even less than that. And so they hang up, and the first thing they said after Zach got off the air was, "And that's why we don't have guests calling."
How come you didn't prep him? You didn't prep him before, or anything?
I barely had time to even figure out what he was doing, what was going on.
That is funny.
So I think because of that, he said, "Screw that, I'm gonna start my own thing," right? So then he started just talking about sports with one of his friends who lives across the street, and that's who the Bacon Brothers were. Zach and Austin. And every now and then, they'd have a guest on, and it would be me pretending to be somebody else.
I heard you on a.
Yeah. And so I would just be a character. I would make something up. We had a segment that what bothers me, you kind of thing.
Yeah,
I was like that. I was like the old cantankerous guy.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, now I forget even what my name was, but it's been a while since you recorded that. You got into the high school experience has taken over a lot of his life.
Right.
But he did start a broadcasting club. So they broadcasted a bunch of sports, bunch of sports at school. So I don't think so short answer.
It's not over.
The short answer is it's not over. I think so he's going to do engineering at UCLA, but I'm not going to be surprised if he says, "You know what, I'm also going to do this broadcasting stuff."
Right. Communication.
Oh, well, he has a PBS. He did a PBS show as well. So
wow.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah. I mean, I listened to a couple, and I was like, I wanted to go back today, and I ran out of time to listen more because it's actually refreshing to hear a kid because they're so innocent, and it's like there's no BS behind it. They're giving you exactly what is coming into their head.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I was like, at first I was like, I'm going to listen for a minute. I ended up sitting there, I had it on. I was taking a shower. I had it on the background. I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool, man.
He sounds so
anyways,
young.
I wanted to, really young, really young.
He did do a lot of research. Like he had notes. Like he had,
that's cool.
And he had segments, and he modeled it after what he was hearing on the radio.
Yeah.
The 2 a.m. show, the 2 afternoon radio sports AM shows in LA.
Yeah. 710 and 570. Yeah. That was cool. I enjoyed that. Okay. All right, Uncle, we're at the final toast, brother. You know what? Since we're already at an hour and 40 minutes,
this is not a gentleman's hour. It's a gentleman's hour.
And I was going to ask you about the app, but you know what? Would you be willing to come back on another time? And I want to give you a full to dedicate, talk about the app and get into, because honestly, we could probably talk about that for another 45 minutes. Would you be willing to
absolutely
come back on and just talk about the app?
Yeah, I'm actually glad we didn't talk about the app because it's...
Hey, can I go to the restroom real quick?
Yeah. Yeah, we're not used to doing this long of a show. We don't have this much to say. But yeah, go ahead.
So I'm glad we didn't. Well, I don't want to promote the app just yet, but
okay.
Because,
okay.
So we're not into production. Like we're just doing the beta stuff. And so I sort of want to use like once we do get in production, then I'll be able to sort of pitch it, right? And then maybe we can
Okay.
see if
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
put a link up or something.
Yeah,
Because
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. 100%. Yeah.
I would be willing. I'm dying to know, where our users are going to start coming from, and if we sell it enough, we could use it as a promotional thing. But even just talking about family in with respect to and how it's um, how it's shaped the app. I would love to do again. We can even just show how we're related if you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, 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 yeah. No, because I was intrigued by it, and as I started as I was doing this whole little outline, I was like, you know what, this is gonna need a whole, because it's like, I really want to jump into it and give it its proper respect, but it would take a whole other show. So okay, that's good. So
yeah, let's
we'll just
save
leave
it.
it at that. You've developed an app, and it's close, right? It's gonna go into production soon. I think you said you're doing the beta testing or whatnot, but um, that's cool. And because I want to talk about that too. So
Yeah,
yeah, we'll save that. All right. Well, how about this? We'll end it on this question. If there's somebody from Pacoima right now, or it doesn't have to be Pacoima, maybe somebody from a lesser neighborhood, or you're in a poor neighborhood, and you think you have no options, and
not
you're
too many of
watching this
those.
show.
Yes, sir. That's incredible.
Yeah, right. What would you want to say to them, or is there any kind of inspiration you would want to give to them? It could be youth, it could be anybody that wants they're looking for a little spark or something.
Yeah, I try to go back as much as I can, and not just to Pacoima. I will go back whenever asked, but any underserved neighborhood like Pacoima. We're close to Santa Ana.
Right.
I've been to Salinas, and so I am a part of a group that actually does go and speak about the virtues of going to college and dreaming big. So uh, I guess the question is not if, but every time that I do speak to kids that I think look like me and come from the same kind of background, is to shoot for the stars, man. Everybody has the same potential. Everybody starts, uh, even though the conditions or the your circumstances may look bleak. It's not always that way. There's always a way out. It's less words that I use and just more of this is somebody who got out of the hood. This is somebody who can you know retire early and do things that they've always wanted to do. And there's nothing special about me. Um, and if it's somebody that looks like you and talks like you and is from the same neighborhood can do it, then sort of you can do it too. It sounds kind of hokey, um, but I truly believe even if I just got up in front of went to a class or something and just said my name and where I was from and walked out, that could be enough to spark, the next generation of
Yeah.
everything else, it's just sometimes it's just words, right? That kids just like, yeah, all right, we've heard it already. We've heard it already. We don't need to hear it, but hey, um, it's reflected. Like, if we're reflecting, see somebody reflecting in your own self, then you can, you know, so if, say it this way. Um, if I see somebody who looks like me in positions of government, in positions of, celebrity, or you just, make a lot of money, or you're just successful, whatever the measurement of success is, then the potential, you have a higher potential to do it yourself.
Right, right, right. Yeah, that's perfect. Uncle, so that was it. That was our closing. Did you have any last words, or did you have any last questions for Mark?
I have one question.
All right,
Yeah.
shoot it, shoot it.
Best hamburger in Pacoima.
Senator? Shoestring, when they used to exist.
Yeah, back in the day, yeah, of course.
We didn't go there very often, probably because they were just like super unhealthy. But what I loved about Shoestring, you ever been there, Paul? Did you ever?
No,
No?
I never.
Ever been to any
He's
restaurant?
like, hell no.
You ever been to any restaurants in Pacoima?
When I was little, because when my grandmother used to live there on my dad's side, we used to go over there. But then after that, everybody was gone out
Yeah.
of there. I can't remember ever going back over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
No, then it was like San Fernando, Silmar primarily.
Yeah. So I mean,
But
that's
I've heard of it though. I've heard of it. I think my mom or my uncle Lou.
Yeah, right.
Somebody talked.
Yeah,
No, because
right.
somebody talked about shoestrings. I remember. I think it was my mom.
Pacoima Historical Society.
Let me open the book up. No.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what is your
I'm a Bobos guy for sure.
Bobo's? Okay, I pastrami sandwiches I loved from Bobo's for some reason. That was
That's
my thing
dad.
from
My
Bobo's.
dad loved that. Yeah.
Yeah, but the burgers. Again, my grandma had a little taco stand right across the street from Shoestring. Oh no, she lived across the street from Shoestring. She had a taco stand across the street from MI. And so she, my grandma's burgers were always she even though they served, tacos, grandma would always cook up burgers for us in
Nice.
her little restaurant as well.
Let me tell you this. I don't know. You mentioned it earlier. I don't know if you know, but we're related to the Linchitas.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Linchitas is my dad's cousin, I think.
All right. Nice.
Yeah, she rates my dad.
Yeah. I mean, it's famous, Pacoima famous landmark.
Yeah, man. It's just landmarks, bro. Pacoima landmarks for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. This has been cool to hear you guys, like, when you guys start talking about, hey, you remember that? Oh, you know that street? Oh, yeah, the dirt road. That's cool, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, come on, bro. It's Pacoima, dude. If you know Pacoima, there's like little things they're just go with the territory for sure.
Dude, even little Gabriel, I haven't thought about that guy in I don't even know how long. And he's freaking brought it up.
You know he plays little Vin Diesel, right? Online.
No.
And you know this guy thinks he's regular Vin Diesel.
Ever since I shaved my head, hey, somebody has called me that, bro.
Whatever, dog. He's little Toretto.
Little Toretto.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you know that, Uncle Louis. That's how I know you're from Pacoima, is because you know him. Who else?
Hey, everybody knows Wiz, bro. He's
yeah.
he's on the Mount Rushmore of Pacoima for sure.
Oh, that's what we should have done. Look, next time we do, we got to do some Mount Rushmores for. All right, so I think the basic point of this whole interview, stories, is that no matter where you come from, no matter where you start, your story isn't finished. You're in complete control of your destiny. I think that's proved by Mark, and then the stories of all the other people that went to MIT from Pacoima, all that. Louis, even you making it out. I mean, everybody making it out, that's a success story. If you have improved upon, your life from your parents' life, I think that's a success. So I wanted to say thank you, Mark, for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate you. I enjoy. I don't know. You're right. I don't know why we didn't talk as kids. We could have been BFS right now. But hey, it's never too late. Like me and Louis, we just connected. It's never too late for us to connect. I want to have you back on when you're ready for it to be released. Let's talk again about it. Let's do the Mount Rushmore of Pacoima. Louis, as always, you're my co-host. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you too.
Thank you.
So I think we'll just leave it at that. As always, thank you. Like and subscribe. And we appreciate everybody watching. Thank you, guys. Like I said, don't hang up. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. But